Okay.
Yeah, start.
Go on.
हाँ, just a second. एक second यार. Can you guys see it?
Yep.
Yes. Count is not there.
The audio is not there. You
there.
need to share the audio as well.
Okay.
Instead of sharing screen, no?
No, you need to stop share screening and then you need to start again. There's a tick box underneath which share audio as well.
Just यहीं पर रहता ना. Or is it somewhere else?
Stop sharing the screen first.
Okay. Just a second.
Now
And
start the share screen again. But there's a
Okay.
checkbox underneath which says share audio as well.
हाँ, it is.
Share computer sound.
Split. Wait. Now can you hear it? Huh? Can you?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
we
yes.
can.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, that was the video.
So that is the video. Apparently, we're going to be starting a LinkedIn campaign for the entire GTM thing. So the seniors are planning to do that, and that is the video that's going to be representing our it's going to be spearheading our whole marketing campaign. And I'll just share my the presentation as well.
Just share the pitch video also, na?
I don't have it in my system.
I'm sending
That's
you.
okay.
You can share it yourself, na Rajlekha?
I have very bad connection. I'll send
Chalo,
it to
send
you.
it. Send.
Once. I think we could go section by section and just share 2 screens of each section, and the people from those section can probably take over and start talking about it.
Sure.
You guys are able to see it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So for those who basically haven't seen the whole PPT, I'm just showing it to you guys.
Tam, I sent you.
Done.
Go slide by slide. Let them explain. That's the better way to do it.
So marketing team.
Yeah.
Vasavi and Ananya, you guys have to take over.
Yeah. Okay. Can you put slideshow? Make the screen.
Just a second. Ram.
Huh.
This is not the updated slide because.
Yeah, it's not the updated one actually.
Oh, 1 second. I'll just get it. Sorry. I'm sorry. My bad.
Shall I go?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So before going into the marketing aspect of it, I just want to say that the idea that Ram and Prem have come up with was amazing, and it just brought our team together. I hope you guys can hear me, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
go.
yes.
Yeah. So yeah, this idea was like fabulous, and Ram and Prem, hats off to the efforts you guys have put, and it's like so good. You brought almost so many people of the batch together through this project. So kudos to that. And going on to the marketing team, I have to say it was such an amazing team, and they were there for almost all the meetings. We had a bunch of video calls, and they were always present. uh, I mean, they were just so dedicated with the work they did, and it was excellent working with the team. Vasavi.
Yeah, so I kind of agree with Ananya, and also I have a slight disclaimer. My net is sort of really bad, so if I break up in the middle, just like let me know. And also, yeah, talking about the process of how the marketing team really did our work. So on the basis of what we got from the analytics team, we decided to focus primarily on 3 countries, which was UK, US, and India. And on the basis of that, we divided the entire marketing team into subgroups for each country. And in those subgroups, there were also people for each of the STP in the marketing, which is basically segmentation, targeting, and positioning. So in each subgroup for each country, there was an individual who's focusing on segmentation, an individual who's focusing on targeting, and an individual who's focusing on positioning. And in this way, we could come up with the best idea of whom to target and what is the best way to target them.
Okay, so let me just start with the explanation of what's there in the slides. Okay, so basically segmentation, targeting, and positioning, as Vasavi mentioned, were the 3 main areas that we had to focus, and we also did it based on the countries that we were focusing on, which were of course India, UK, and US. And so segmentation is basically to know how to categorize people, but on the basis of the preferences. So for example, since we're trying to tap the VR market, we thought age was the best way or the demographic to do for segmentation. So we categorized it, and this we had data from the analytics team as well. So and we decided to go with a segmentation approach on the basis of age. And so also another thing was UK and US had like a prominent VR market already. So they had like different demographics, like money was not one big issue for UK and US, whereas in India, which still has a growing VR market, money was an important factor to be considered during segmentation. Targeting is basically what is going to be viewed most in each of the countries, and we could conclude that India would go with EPL and IPL, UK would go with EPL and La Liga, and USA would go with EPL and NBA. And for positioning, we decided that it being a VR market, we're going to position it targeting the youth. So it's going to be a youth-centric brand, and all the previous experiences would have been like just viewing it on a big screen or just a TV or something like that. But this is going to be an entirely different experience altogether. Moving on to competitor analysis, a question that might come to your mind would be why haven't Amazon, that is Amazon Prime or Netflix, why haven't they gone into this? So a few reasons could be because these Amazon, Netflix and all have invested significant amount of money in their own content production. So we know there are so many Netflix original and Prime originals. So when they are investing so much money in that, they might not, or they rather will not right now try to enter a new market, that is VR. And another thing is we will be making contracts with other streaming partners. This could be Hotstar or anything for getting rights of the sports telecast and stuff like that. So this wouldn't be possible with a global leader like Amazon or Netflix might not want to have a contract with a third streaming platform. So that is another reason. And finally, it includes high investment costs, like you need 360 degrees camera to shoot the live interactive audience and stuff like that. So these are a few reasons why I think the competition will be pretty less to begin off with. Moving on, Vasavi, you want to continue? Next slide, please.
So next, the marketing team focused on the 7 P's of marketing, which is product, price, people, physical environment, place, promotion, and process, right? So when you talk about product, further 3 questions come up, which is what, why, and how. So when you talk about what the product is, it is a VR streaming service that caters to a niche audience. Talking about why the product, we came up with the product, or Ram and Brain came up with the product in the first place, it is to create an interactive like gaming experience from the comfort of your own house. Talking about how you plan to go ahead with this product, we use something called, and just give me a minute. Yeah, you use something, basically you use the app, and it's called dynamic stretching, wherein, which is what Ananya spoke about, you have a 360-degree camera, and it is high cost, which is why you need to put so much effort into the product. Talking about the price, we focused on a premium pricing approach, which means that the more premium your pack is, the more you'll have to pay for that. And on the basis of each country, we also divided it on the basis of how the consumers would react to a particular price, right? So in India, you have 2 prices, which is 300 rupees for the basic version and 500 rupees for the premium version. In US and UK, we decided to give people a free trial so that they could gauge how the app works and then go ahead with the premium version of it. And talking about people is again where the segmentation and the targeting of the marketing comes into picture, is who exactly you wish to target with this product. So we focused on customers who are both sports enthusiasts and tech geeks who have a similar purchase history. This way we knew exactly who to target, and we thought that this could keep our acquisition costs low. Talking about a place is essentially where you could find a product, and our product could be found in the app store, in a bunch of partner apps, which is where we partner in with Hotstar, or you partner with Prime, and as well on social media. So promotion, we thought that the most cost-effective way of promoting the app would be on social media, wherein we promote it on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, microblogging websites, etc. And we use the help of influencers. And before the product launches, we kind of create a buzz on Twitter so that people are intrigued about the product and want to try it as soon as the product comes into the market. We also gave customer loyalty programs where if the members initially subscribe for a premium version, they can avail attractive offers, in the sense that you have a certain loyalty towards the brand. The 6th one is the process of the app, which we felt is primarily 3 things. Firstly, it is easily accessible. Secondly, the app is user-friendly. And more importantly, it provides a seamless user experience. And the final thing is the physical environment of the app, which is essentially where the app is and how it plans to change the gaming experience. And that is what the marketing team did.
Thank you, guys. I think you guys summed up in a very, very neat and clean way. We'll just go to the next one. It's strategy. Abhinav, could you like?
So, hello everyone. Strategy. What goes into strategy, as per my understanding from this project, is that the strategy team aims to bring together, all the other departments together. So if they have come up with a plan, it's the strategy who decides if that plan is possible or not, if that plan will work or not in an efficient way and in a cost-effective way. So according to that, keeping that in mind, we have done a SWOT analysis, which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for the product. If a product is being launched into the market, what are the strengths that the product has? How is your product different from what the competitors are offering? What are the weaknesses in your product? How can you improve your product over time? And opportunities include, in the near future, how can you grasp the opportunities that come your way? Because for a business to succeed, you have to grasp each and every opportunity that you get. And the threats, again, opportunities that you have, the same opportunities even your competitors have. So what could be the potential threats for your product? So keeping all this in mind, we have done a SWOT analysis for Brief, that is a product. And yeah, Pawan or Shlok, would you like to elaborate on strengths and weaknesses?
I'd just like to add one point before moving on to the strengths and weaknesses. we also did the Porter's 5 analysis.
Oh yeah.
So the thing with strategy we realized is that you cannot have, so the Porter's 5 analysis was something that was given to us already, okay. But that was something that did not necessarily fit with our business model, to strategize how it goes. So we tried looking at other models, but then we could not include a lot of things here, and we also didn't have a lot of time later on, right? So we did not necessarily do those analysis. But then we realized that each and every business problem would have a different analysis to it. You will never have one strategy for different businesses, right? So that was something I think we learned. We were just focusing on Porter's analysis, and later on, when we didn't have time, we started looking at other strategy things. So coming to strengths and weaknesses, so we basically had to know the strengths to move ahead. Like even when you talk about marketing, you need to market the product based on your strengths, and you need to cover up what's what you're lacking in marketing as well, right? So I think strengths and weaknesses were like very vital. Although, so our main weakness here was lack of consumer data, right? We did not have any prior data to this. So I think that constituted a crucial part in figuring out the strategy for the be it for the marketing team or any other team, since we do not have any data on how the consumer will react to this new technology at all. So I think that is where the weaknesses played a crucial role. And strengths, definitely, you need to know the strengths of your product. You need to know how to better portray them and make more and more people aware of it and use your product, right? So I think that's it from my part, I guess. Shlok, do you have anything?
Some
I'll just add
opportunities and threats.
I'll just add to the opportunities and threats, right? So for us, the opportunities were a lot, but along with the opportunities, a lot of threats also do come in. Like we could expand into multiple verticals. It's a new technology, so the new experience for the users is always, like a novel thing. People love having new experiences, and they are really attracted to that, right? But also a threat along with that comes changing the customer's behavior pattern. As it is always seen, changing someone's behavior pattern is extremely difficult in the market. Plus, our model is very easy to replicate. Like any giant can come and replicate it. So we have to be careful about those things when we move ahead. We have a lot of opportunities present, especially in the post-COVID era. But then we have to balance them with our threats and see which is the best way forward. I think in the next slide we'll be showing that.
I'll go to the next slide.
Oh yeah. So sustainability. What sustainability actually means is when you launch a product into the market, the last thing that you want is to be short-lived. You want your product to be, keep adapting to the changes that come into the market and be continued in the market. You want your product to be there in the market for as long as it could be. So keeping in mind the VR technology, the sustainability plan that we have come up with is we start off with sporting events like IPL, La Liga, and other premier sports that happen. And as we get more consumer data, as we get more data on how the consumer is behaving with the product, we can introduce new features like live meditation sessions. You feel as if you're sitting with the yoga guru or maybe someone who's teaching the meditation sessions, live yoga sessions, live cooking sessions, as in how we grow into the market, and so on and so forth. And also keeping up with the research and development on the product and on the technology, and introducing new features into the product so that it is more seamless for the users, and it helps them even more when they watch the live matches or live meditation sessions or live sporting sessions, concerts, anything. Just come up with new features. That's it. You don't want to stick to one particular market when you launch a product into the market, because your consumers will get bored of watching the same thing. So yeah, that's what sustainability means. Keep introducing new changes for your product so that the consumers get engaged, and keep engaging the customers as per the needs and requirements of the people, as and when the new need arises. That's it from the sustainability side and from the strategy part.
Thanks, Abhi.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. And operations. Oh God.
Yeah. Hello, people. I'll start with the operations part. I hope I'm audible to everybody.
Yeah.
So basically, operations was one of the first departments who were set to go ahead very initially, because a lot of other departments were dependent on the data from the operations department, especially finance being one of them. So operations had this responsibility that if we do not work fast and if we do not work together, the other departments cannot move at their own pace and the whole project will get slowed down. Especially finance people were heavily dependent on the data, the parameters and the cost aspects from us, so that they can make projections and calculate the overall cost. Now, one of the first things that operations needed, as you know, that what we are doing here is we are creating a VR headset. There's a VR headset, and in which you will be streaming live streams of concerts, music, NBA, EPL, and IPL, etc. So basically, you're sitting at home and you have your VR headset on, and it's just like you're sitting in a stadium. There are real people around you, and you are watching the live streaming of a match which is really happening at some other place, maybe in London or maybe in New York or something like that. Or if it's IPL, it's happening in another city. So how do we make this happen? For this to be possible, for you to really experience people sitting beside you here and taking the stadium atmosphere, you need data. You need data which is in real time, and which has been, the crowd data has been there. You need the data for the live stream which is happening. So this was one of the first tasks which from where operations started. There were the other tasks which are assigned to operations were first being this, that we had to collect data sets. We needed data of the crowd gathering in stadiums, in various concerts and matches, as well as the live video stream. This was the first task. The second task was we needed to identify a software which will stitch this data, individual data pieces together. So this was the second task. One team needed to find out the software which are needed, and also the data servers where we are going to play this thing, either on cloud, on which servers we are going to play this thing. This was the third task. The fourth task was, the operation was given was, we have to find out what human resources will marketing team will require or analytics team will require. Like for an example team, if we are streaming in China, so how many HR people do we require there on site? How many analytics AI professionals we require on site? Or how many marketing professionals was required. This was the fourth task. So team was divided in according to these tasks: data sets, software, your servers, and your HR human resources thing. 4 teams were created with 2 to 3 people each, and we started the work. I'll explain the first data set part because that was what my team and I did. We were 3 people, me, Vijay, and Sai Aarti were there. So initially, when Ram told us that, you know, you need to find out the data sets for the video recording, and so that we can take the live stream and all, I was like, okay, I understand that in theory that we need some data. So, okay, we need some data so that, you know, something can move ahead. I had this much understanding, but we started, okay, we went online and we started searching. So now I know I need data, but I don't know what the data looks like. I have never seen that data. I am not a CS guy and I have no idea about it. So for, you know, when the first time we went, we got stuck in very different places, which was not at all, you know, in a very wrong direction, in a very wrong path into something, another world. We were searching on different sites. We were trying to find out what data was required. Then after the first very failed attempt, I again called Ram and we had a discussion that what do we actually need? How the data sets, you know, really look like when I am seeing on the Google page, how am I going to recognize, oh, okay, this is the thing that he needs, the team needs. So then the point was basically you just needed the video recordings of all the years
from you say 10 years back of or all the IPL matches happening, and these things are readily available. Actually, they should be readily available, but when you go on searching them, the data is not openly available anywhere, because you need to purchase rights for these data. So after 1 or 2 days of searching, me and my team, we found out 2 sites. One was Opta Sports, which is a site which only deals in specific data platform. They collect data from every sites. They're like for every tournament, every game, like there are 10 games and concerts, there is data on that site. And that data is specifically, made that finished in the way that you can directly take it into the VR. Otherwise, there is also data available at other places in bits and parts. So there is more work if you take that data. So these people were in direct business of providing data to people like us who really wanted data for VR and AR thing. Now the problem was, when we contacted the London office of this company, the guy, I told him that we want to just know the market price, so that we are working on a go-to-market strategy and we are students. He's like, until and unless you sign the contract, I cannot reveal anything about the data, not even the general market price which is available. So this was one major roadblock we hit. We tried 1 or 2 sites. We also found 1 or 2 sites. This was the norm in the industry. They do not tell you about the market price in general. And in the contract also, you cannot buy the data. Like, you cannot have the data on your own. In the maximum places, it's like they have the data, you can sign the contract, you can pay, and you can use the data extensively, but it remains with them. So after hitting this roadblock, we then again searched, digged a little deeper, and finally we found an pool, an ocean of data, but it was not actually very tailor-made for VR. It was raw data. So, but it was good data for like 20-25 years, spanning 20-25 years for EPL, NBA, etc. And somebody had put it on GitHub. So, basically our data set cost went to directly almost negligible on that part. And this was where my experience and my team's experience ended. We actually learned a lot because we were not at all in touch with all these things. None of us belong from any of these fields. Neither we were interested outside our fields in all these things. So get accustomed to knowing what is VR, how stitching works, and what software develops and how you put this thing into motion was a very quite enlightening experience for all three of us. And that's where my team's thing ended. I'll pass on the baton to my colleagues, Karthik, to explain the second part of operations.
Thank you, Vikrant. So as Vikrant said, and it's my experience as well, Ram had a very clear understanding of what the app needs to do and how we need to get it there. One common phenomena that was shared between all of us, Ram, me and my team, was that we need to get the cost of the softwares down. And basically, if it's zero, it's very good. Else we need to get it as low as possible. So as Vikrant and I'm sure other operations people also felt that we were operations team as well as we were R&D team, because we were finding the softwares which we needed, we were finding the services which we needed, and etc. and so on and so forth. So as you can see in the flowchart right here, I'll be explaining the stitching VR content and all the services that we use. So first of all, what many of you don't realize is that for this live VR app, we need to stitch the data in real time, and Google or any other API that we could find did not do that. So what we ended up doing was we found a software called Vahana, which does real-time stitching, and it's basically available on GitHub for free, so we can use that anytime we want to. So that's the software part done. The stitching of the content is done. Moving forward, the services that we use, we are primarily using Amazon AWS for all our operations, for the streaming, for encoding, for everything. and we are basically using two Amazon services. One is called Elemental Media Live, and the second is called CDN. I don't actually remember the name, but it's an Amazon AWS CDN. So we are using both of these services. Both of these services charge based on how much viewership you actually have, or how much content you have actually encoded. It's not a fixed price for anything. So that really made sense for us. Obviously, you can see the PPT here, and my colleague Amina will tell you about the HR aspects next, and we can move on to the next slide very soon. Yeah, Amina.
Yeah. So since as Vikrant and Karthik said, we have to function as the R&D department as well as the operations department, and we were starting this from the scratch. Initially, we didn't have a clear picture of what to do, but as we went into the project, we got a better understanding and how to go about it. So I'll explain you about the HR part of it. And since a product is basically an app, we need various people working for the app in different parts of the sector. So to start off with, we need an app developer and UI UX designer who'd be developing the interface for us, and we need the machine learning expert to train the data sets which we have acquired to convert that to a VR experience, and a VR designer who'd be working along with us to provide the VR experience to the users. And this majorly formed of the production cost. And yeah, we got the cost from the internet, and to cross verify that and to check if it is along with the industry standards, we got in touch with a couple of people who are actually working in the industry to know if if the cost is in line. Also, apart from the production cost, we need maintenance costs, which was done for a period of 1 year, and the app developer and the VR engineer had to be maintained throughout the course to improvise on our product. And yeah, apart from the operation costs, also considered included the cloud storage costs, the hardware and the R&D costs, and the internet with which the HR people will be working with, and several other miscellaneous costs which might pop up at any moment. And okay, apart from this basically formed the R&D part, and when we get into the actual operations part, we need to focus on 5 major areas, which included the process optimization. How do we go about satisfying our customers? And once the app is developed, we need to know about how many people will download the app, which include the demand forecasting. We just can't go with one particular amount, and if so many people download our app, of many people do not download our app. And then it included the standardization of a product and leveraging our economies, and the production. How do we go about the production? So starting off with production, us is a hybrid model wherein we develop the software in-house. We develop the app in-house using the Flutter software, and the distribution and encoding of the data sets will be done by the Amazon part. So this is basically a production model. And then moving on to demand forecasting, there are various other factors which the analytics team had also given us, and we had also come up with a list of factors which included the cost of the application. Ever since the cost of the application has to be in line with the production costs, else that would overshoot the production cost will be much more. And yeah, we are also need to take into factors the various exclusive events which are going on at the present moment. And the major point where we lagged was the penetration by our competitors, because we didn't have enough data on how well competitors are. Since this is a completely new idea in India, and we don't know who our competitors are. They might arise up at the moment a product is released, and that is where we lack some knowledge. And coming to customer satisfaction, yeah, so the customer satisfaction is a major it's how well our app has reached the customers. So then it has to be user friendly, and we have to develop our screens, and the user interface must be very friendly and appealing to the customers. And yeah, also we have to provide the discounts for customers wherein okay, if the cost is so much, people might not prefer like downloading or paying so much. So that is where several factors came. And yeah, we have to get feedback from customers to know what else can be improved, how to move about the R&D sector and various events about it. And I pass on to Karthik to explain the process optimization and leveraging economies of scale.
Right, thanks, Amina. I'll just take a few more minutes, like 2-3 minutes, because I know we are over time already. But process optimization and leveraging economies of scale. Leveraging economies of scale is a basic principle. I think every one of us knows it. What it means is we need to distribute our app to as many people as possible. We need to get as many people using our app as possible. So for that, we had 3 points in mind: adding bloatware to phones, Those who have used Android basically know what bloatware is and how it works. Partnering with VR headsets and OTT apps. So the VR headsets is a major point for us because our app is revolving around the whole VR concept. And partnering with VR headsets, manufacturers, and so on and so forth will give us a very good leverage in distributing our app. Coming to process optimization, we feel that the process should be optimized beforehand. The process steps should be laid out beforehand, just so that everyone knows what they are doing and what process they are following. If you can see, there's a certification by ISO 9001. That's a certification that every company needs to have. It's basically how you maintain quality of whatever you are doing and how do you plan to maintain it in the future. So that we have just added it, but it's a necessity for every company to do so. I think, Ram, that's all from the operation side, and I'll pass
Lovely,
it on.
guys. Thank you. Now comes one of the most, I think, the fast working teams in the entire GTM process, the finance guys. I have to tell about them. They basically completed the entire finance section in probably one night. So I think Amol and Nikhil are going to talk about it. It's going to be interesting for all of you.
That's called burning the midnight oil.
Yeah, they did. They literally did that.
Yeah, it was not just one day, it was 2 days, boys. Yeah, so regarding finance, can you hear me?
Yeah, Nikhil. Go on.
Yeah, okay. So regarding finance, we can say that main issue. Hello?
Yeah, Nikhil.
We can hear you. Go on.
Go on. Okay, yeah. So the main issue regarding finance was, hello, I'm getting my voice.
We can hear you. You can go on. I think you're very clear in your.
Yeah, it's echoing.
It's echoing.
Everybody
Try
mute their
removing your-
mics and only Nikhil will speak. All right.
You're clear on the side.
Hello.
Guys, wait. Just a second. Nikhil, only you unmute your mic and speak. Rest all please mute yourselves.
Yeah, hello. Okay.
You're audible. Go on.
Okay, cool. Okay, so regarding finance, our major biggest challenge or the biggest roadblock we had was the pricing point, as in how much we should charge per customer or per subscriber. Okay, and let's see, as per the balance sheet that we have, as per the P&L we have provided. For the first year, we are expecting a revenue from 3 different places, as we have operations from UK and US as well, while our headquarters is in India. So we have made all the projections. We have made all the books from India. So all these projections are based in terms of rupees. So these revenues are generated, using 3 different parameters. So the first parameter is through advertisements. We will generate revenues from advertisements. Since we are a newly formed company, so maybe we will get low advertisements, but we will generate a decent amount of revenue from advertisements. Then our second stream of revenue was from our OTT partners, that is from Hotstar or from other apps that we are using for the various countries. So those were, let's say, a substantial income for us. And the third was in-app revenues, that is through the subscribers that we get. So these are the projections that we are expecting in revenue for the first 5 years, as they have asked in the GTM. And as operations said, the cost they have mentioned. So since we had very few costs in our data, as in since we are partnering from other OTT platforms, so our costs were very much reduced. But then too we have losses for the first 2 years. That is because of various operation costs, like the production cost that they had for the first year, which was 16 to 17 lakhs. So that was only a one-time cost. So that appears only in the first year. So that was the biggest losing point for us. So yeah, those are the financials that we have provided. And now I'd like Amol to explain all the ratios and other parts. Over to you, Amol.
Thanks, Nikhil. So ratios are basically a relation between 2 variables. So these ratios help the investors or the various stakeholders to make their decisions, and also it helps the company to frame their policies and decisions with respect to taking into consideration the ratios. So I'll start with the first, the operating profit ratio. Operating profit is that profit which is just on the basis of your revenue and expenses. It doesn't take into consideration your interest, tax, and depreciation. So the basic formula for the operating profit ratio is the the earnings before interest and tax and depreciation and amortization divided by your total revenue. And as you can see, for the first year, we have negative EBIT. So therefore, the ratio is negative. And as you can see throughout the years, our earnings are increasing, and therefore the ratios are proportionally increasing as well. The net profit ratio is basically an advanced version of the operating profit ratio. It takes into consideration every expenses that the company is going to face or incur. So again, as you can see, for the first 2 years, we are incurring losses. So therefore, for the first 2 years, we have negative ratios, and post that, we are showing positive and increasing ratios. Then the revenue percent year on year increase. It is basically taking into consideration the current year's revenue and subtracting it from the previous year's revenue. And we are coming up on the increase or the revenue through on year. So as you can see, for the first year, we don't have, because that is the base that we have chosen. And for the second year, you can see there's a 12% increase, there are 11%, 11%. And then for the final fifth year, we have a 14% increase in the revenue as compared to the fourth year. Then ICR is the interest coverage ratio. So ICR is basically explains how much times the profits are available to pay off the interest expenses. So as you can see, the interest expenses for first year are 5,60,000 and our EBIT is 12 lakhs. So right now we have a negative ratio because our earning or the income is not sufficient to subside the interest expenses. But as you can see throughout the years, our interest coverage ratio is increasing substantially as our earnings have increased proportionately. Then we have the return on equity, ROE. So if you can see in the next slide, our equity, basically we have 50% of the total funds as equity. So that is, I guess, something around 1 crore 20 lakhs, if I'm not wrong. And yeah, so our total source of funds, total funds that we are going to introduce is something around 2 crores 40 lakhs. So 50% of that is equity. And return on equity is basically the return, that is your revenue divided by the total equity that you have. So again, the first 2 years are showing, so the net income, sorry, the return on equity, we consider the net income and not the total revenue, sorry. So first 2 years, again, you can see we have a negative revenue because of losses in the first 2 years. Post that, again, as we have profits in the net income, we have increased return substantially. Now the debt equity ratio basically tells you about the capital composition of any particular company. Ideally, the standard ratio is 2:1, but when you show a higher ratio, it indicates higher liquidity, but at the same time, it shows lower profitability. So as our profits are increasing thoroughly throughout the 5-year period, the debt equity ratio, we have kept it to show a more profitable P&L. If we could have kept it 2:1, then obviously our profits would not have been increasing or what they are right now. So yeah, that's it about the ratios.
Yeah. Okay. So regarding other things, hello, it's echoing again.
Yeah, we
Go
can.
on, Nikhil, we can hear you. If you want, you can take out your headphones and speak if you are listening to echo.
Okay, no issues. Okay. So
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you now.
Nikhil, you are not
Nikhil, we
audible.
can't hear you.
Can't you just send it to him on chat, right?
He's not looking into the chat.
No.
Nikhil, if you can hear this, we can't hear you at all. He's just going
I
on.
think I'll just take over and let him speak, I guess.
Yeah, no, actually, Ram, just stop your screen share so he knows something's up.
No, but he muted himself, no?
We're not able to hear you, man.
Oh, yeah.
I guess he left.
No, he's still in the meeting.
Still there? I'll share it again.
Nikhil?
Hello.
Yeah, we can
Nikhil.
hear you now.
Nikhil, explain the second slide again, please. We couldn't hear you.
Yeah, we couldn't hear anything of it.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we can hear you. Go. Nikhil, you're mute.
Can you hear me right now?
Yeah.
We can hear you right now. Go.
So you heard the previous part? or
No,
not?
we did not hear anything. Please start from the beginning of the
Okay.
second slide.
Okay, yeah. So we can see as per the break even that we have mentioned that we will achieve break even in the second quarter of the third year. These are as per the projections that we have provided in the PNL. Okay, and the pricing that I had mentioned in the before in the starting that we had those issues. So we solved these issues using marketing and operations team's help. So they gave us the number of subscribers that they think that they would achieve, that they would be able to convert them. So as per that, we have had these prices. So these are all in terms of rupees. So in India, especially in India, we have these two types of subscription thing. So the highest subscription point is 500 rupees per year, and the lower end subscription point is 300 rupees per year. So basis on those basis that we have generated those revenues as one of the streams of revenues. And as Amol mentioned, sources of funds. So we can see the sources of funds as in the bar graph, in the pie chart, that 50% of our funds are through equity. That is about 1 crore 20 lakhs. Then debt we have a debt of 80 lakhs, and the rest is through angel investors and AGBI. So I think that's it for finance. Ram, you can forward it.
Yeah. Tracy?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Just a second. Yeah. So regarding analytics, first Akash will speak like what is analytics and all that, and later I'll explain the presentation what we do. Akash. Akash, you there?
I think he can't hear you. He's here.
He came.
Yeah, so I'm switching off my camera. Actually, my internet is not stable.
Sure, Akash.
Sure, go on.
Thank you. So, hello everyone. I'm Akash, and I would like to introduce you with analytics and what we do in analytics, basically. First of all, it is simply like a roller coaster ride. We start slowly by collecting all the fun energy inside us, and with every different height, we come to the verge of excitement, and then as we go down, we visualize fun. It goes same with analytics. We start by collecting the data, and what I mean by collecting data is that we slowly start moving towards our idea for business. We read articles, reports, and Excel sheets, customer behavior, customer needs, current market needs, details about our competing product, and many other information which can help us to reach at a certain perspective and an idea that how we can move further more towards the next stage. And with the next stage, we reach with a vast amount of data that is still not organized or structured. And for the same purpose, we clean the data we have. Here we play a simple trick with the missing values, or like the sum or save unstructured data by replacing missing values with a number or deleting the whole row. Now our data is perfectly clear, and we can go further with manipulating the data to create required features and variables, and thus we create a whole new column with every single matrices we can think of to analyze our data with logical methods and analytical techniques. We segment customers into different groups then further apply some logic so as to segment the data segment the potential customers from the market on different bases, and also computing the sales with the last year so as to take future business decisions on the basis of historical data. Now we have reached that height now. So the last stage comes with data visualization to present our data with insights after listing final outputs for giving problem statements so that we can work on final presentation of complete analysis done done by us by presenting it further. So visualization is showing analyzed data in visual or graphical form for easy interpretation. As now Prezi will explain you with the work our team analytics did. We can continue.
Yeah, okay. So what analytics did is, so the main problem we had is data analytics, right? We did not have data because nobody has previously introduced this, and only in America, Next VR is the only company that has introduced the sports streaming in VR. And the problem is, and their data is also not like public, so we did not have any data. So what we did was, for like, I'll just explain what are the characteristics that we focused on, and so that you'll understand better. Okay, so first we did a growth rate of VR market. So what we did was we took different countries like USA, UK, India, and China, and we saw that where will this VR market grow in 5 years. So that based on that, we can focus on that country, right? So that's what we did. We first calculated the growth rate of the VR market, and based on that, like Ananya said, we came up with USA, UK, and India, because we saw that in these markets, our platform is much viable. And later, coming to customer sensitivity and marketing costs, what we can do with analytics is, usually for customer sensitivity and marketing costs are mostly like expenses and revenues. We can take like that, and we can calculate the customer acquisition cost. Customer acquisition cost is nothing but CSC, which includes advertisements, the marketing cost that we spend, and we compare that to revenue per customer, the revenue that we are making per customer. So usually revenue per customer should be greater than CSC. And also we can compare CSC with LTC, which is lifetime value of a customer. So usually, like, this is the golden ratio that every company takes. So the LTC is to CSC should be greater than 1. So based on that, we should always be comparing both of them in analytics. And regarding the customer sensitivity, how we can come to that is, we can segment our customers into segments like based on age, geography, gender, and then take their price points. Like one segment is willing to pay 1 point, like our age group is willing to pay less than compared to other age groups, because like we're still in our independent like non-independent, right? So based on that, we can take price points, and then we can determine the price of our product. And also coming to our price sensitivity, we should always focus that our price sensitivity is in par with the competitors. Like the competitors' price ranges and our price ranges should be the same. Then we can think like, how are we gonna outsell our competitors? Then we have to increase our penetration rate, and it's again a cycle. Like again, we can increase the customer acquisition cost, and that's how it works. So that's what we decided. We have to focus on those costs, and that will help us to see the growth rate of the VR market. And also we decided to focus on advertisement revenues from viewership, because our product has 3 categories: the free part and the paid part. The paid part is again divided into low and high. So for the free part, our income is the advertisements that people will be seeing through our platform. So that's what we decided to focus on, the advertisement revenues that we'll be getting. And the metrics that should be monitored by our company were the prices of streaming rights, because down the line, we want to become an independent streaming platform, right? We have to separate from our streamers, and we have to become our independent streamers. So we should see that the streaming rights prices and the profits are aligning down the line so that our goal is achieved. and the sales of VR gear and headsets is because it's a trend, right? If the sales of VR gear is increasing, it shows that people are more interested in VR, and there'll be increase in customer footfall for our companies. Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory, I guess. Yeah, that's it. And then the machine learning methods we used for all of this to estimate the growth rate and everything. We use two methods. It's multilinear regression and logistic regression. I'll just explain each one of them. So regarding multilinear regression, we'll just take a straight line equation, which is y is equal to mx. We'll take that as y is equal to beta x. So y is the data that we are trying to forecast, and beta is the data based on which we are trying to forecast y. So y is a dependent variable and beta is an independent variable. So for example, the growth of the VR market, y is the growth of the VR market, and beta is like the different factors. So if there are two factors for the growth of the VR market, we're going to take beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2, like so on. That's so based on that, we can forecast the growth of the VR market and our company. And logistic regression. So down the line, we have to have our own like streaming platform, right? So based on it, how are we gonna like customize the data for the for the users? So what Netflix usually does is like other streaming platforms do. It does two things: content-based filtering and collaborative-based filtering. Content-based filtering is, for example, if I like action movies, it picks out my interests and it sorts all of the action movies for me. So there are a pile of them, right? So Netflix is like, okay, what should I pick out of this? Like to concise the size of the number of movies. So it goes to collaborative filtering. So if one of my friend also likes action movies and he is like, okay, he watches some movie. So it shows that, okay, people who like action movies are more focused on a particular movie. So based on that, Netflix does collaborative filtering. So we can use these two methods on logistic regression. What is logistic regression is it calculates the probability of an event happening between 0 and 1. So 1 is it happens, 0 is it doesn't. So it calculates a probability like 0.7, 0.8. So what we can do is after that, if the probability is below 0.5, it means it doesn't happen. Above 0.5 means it happens. Yeah, that's what we did. And it's the metrics dashboard that we did. Like I need to share the Excel file because it's dynamic now. So no, I think I have to share. Yeah, okay.
You want to share it?
Yes, yes. Yeah. So this is the metrics dashboard that we did. It's a dynamic one. I'll just actually we have to make 3 dashboards, to be honest, but because of the space and the space problem, we had only 2 slides. So we decided to fit everything into a single dashboard and just show the data that is actually important. Okay, so we decided to take customer growth in down 5 years. So in different countries and the customer growth, this chart is dynamic. It changes with each year. And then revenues per versus expenses for 5 years. And again, this chart is dynamic. And revenue avenues, like the first year, what is the date, like what's the revenue we'll be getting from advertising, royalty and user subscription, this is dynamic. I'll just show you. So this is for the 3rd year, right? If I change it to 1st year, like these 3 charts change. It's updated. So for the 1st year, we're making a loss. And in the 5th year, we're making a profit of 19%. And this is the data based on which we did. That's
Tracy, that was very informative. Thank you so much. And guys, the main reason for this session was that me and Prem, when we started off this, we were pretty clear on one thing. We were not in the intention of winning this competition. We actually pretty much knew that it's impossible to win this competition. Because obviously the seniors are going to be participating. They're going to be people from PM who are going to be participating. They have a lot of backing in terms of their own skills. So the one thing we wanted to focus on was that we kind of figure out a way how to go about this and not embarrass ourselves, to be quite honest. So from like we started, I just wanted to give a whole overview on how we did it, the flow that we did it. Operations and analytics were the first teams to get involved with us, and these two teams were basically providing information for everybody else. Like we had to talk with each of these teams, and everybody kept at one point. Me and Prem were like literally confused. Everybody were telling we need data from this team, we need data from this team. We were like, we should probably create a set diagram first to know.
And those guys are pushing us to collect more information on how to get the things done. These guys were pushing us, and we actually worked hard for that also.
Yeah. So so basically, we had to create an action flow diagram and kind of figure out who's basically going to start off with. And we realized that operations and analytics have to start off. And operations had a major work because a lot of people in them were requesting the tech stack, and we were working on the tech stack. A lot of things were happening. And analytics was a whole different game on itself. Every day, Praisy used to call me and probably like she used to wait for 15 minutes telling I don't get this data, I don't get this data. And we were like, and the only thing I could have done then was like I used to be like Praisy, we'll get the data, don't worry. So analytics had to play a big part throughout the whole process, like from the start, and they were the last team to complete because they basically had to culminate all the data that all the other different sections were giving. And Abhinav from strategy was the one team that was giving us a lot of headache because of two reasons. The first reason was we were not able to give them the data that they required till the last day.
I'll put in my number.
Yeah, and the second reason was that I think me and Prem are grateful to you guys in the long run of things, because the people that in strategy basically kept pushing us to enhance the idea, kept asking us doubts, kept pushing us to the end of the line, and we had no other option but to gear up ourselves. So strategy was the team that did it. Thank you guys. And then and then came marketing and finance. Marketing and finance probably were starting off 4 days before the presentation. That's it. Like on the 4th day, we had to submit, and marketing started off there. And finance was heavily relying on the data that marketing was giving them. And we had like call after call with marketing. One call at 6 p.m., one call at 8 p.m., then another call with a few people from marketing at 10 p.m. So that was the kind of work that Prem was entirely handling the marketing. So I think Prem should talk about what marketing did.
Actually, my teammates summed it up perfectly. I think sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. Prem is tired. Sorry. So marketing did an amazing job. They just kept doing call after call. Like they kept collaborating. There were like subgroups inside marketing itself. We had like 10 WhatsApp groups of marketing, if I'm not wrong. So that was the kind of effort that they were putting. And thank you guys, Vasavi, Ananya, and whoever is here from the marketing team. It's like, it was a real pleasure actually, because a lot of things we had to like basically learn first and then implement. It was just, it applies to all the teams. Most of the one thing that, the one advantage and disadvantage that we had as DM students was that we knew nothing. We were clean slates. We had to first learn and then implement it. Unlike most other batches who knew a bit, they just had to equip themselves better and implement. So we learned everything from scratch. And then finance, like they did the most. Like there was probably the fastest workers. I think they had calls from 10 to 2:30 a.m. the last 2 days. So thank you guys, Nivi, Madhu, Nikhil. Venki is not here, but Venki was also there. He was like eating the whole day. Yeah, he was eating one whole day and missed the calls, and then he basically jumped up the next day and like kind of geared himself.
And other guys I forgot to mention.
Venki is here.
Hey, Venki is here.
Yeah, Venki is here, man. So thanks a lot, guys. The whole idea we wanted this session was the first thing is we wanted all the teams to give their opinions on how they felt and everything, and kind of teach others on a way to do it, because even now we don't know. Yeah, and Sandeep, I'm just coming to him. Sorry. Yeah. So we just wanted to, because even now we don't know if operations is the exact thing that operations will teach you in an operations class. We don't know that. We don't know if marketing did that, but we all kind of binged together to give a product that was actually appreciated by the seniors. For those who are not aware of what the seniors told, they were actually quite impressed by our presentation. They were like they didn't expect, they were actually blatant. They didn't expect a DM1 students to give the kind of presentation that we gave them at the end of the line. And we, as I told, we don't know if this is right, but we did an amazing job. So a big thank you and a clap for all of us. And then Sandeep was the guy who we could like any issue with respect to the presentation, we just used to call Sandeep. Sandeep, correct the presentation. Any issue, anything that basically comes out of the multimedia segment, Sandeep was the go-to guy. Thank you, Sandeep. He basically made the advertisement ad that you guys
And
saw
the
in first.
advertisement video, sorry, I'm interrupting. They loved the ad because like Sandeep edited it so well. They were like, "Oh, it's a crazy ad." And
We post the ad in
And the logo. Logo.
Yeah,
of course,
made by
Logo was by
the
Elizabeth.
presentation, and I'll just 1 minute. I'll just share you the UI also, so it doesn't go unnoticed.
Yeah.
He basically, I don't have it entirely, but this is the UI he created for us. The one that you see here. So he basically did, and I think this front page basically gives the first impression that we have actually worked hard, in my opinion. So thank you, Sandeep, and thank you all of you. And I hope Karthik, we can put this recording in the group also, so people who have not able to come, they could actually.
Definitely. It's being recorded. It will be posted as soon as.
Any of you want to tell any last words before we dispose of GTM officially? I think we'll have some work like marketing team.
Ram and Prem, actually, without them, everything together in such a presentable manner would have not been possible at all. And I also want to thank Nikhil and Amol because they taught us, me and Madhu especially, were new to finance and they taught us many things. We almost spectated but learned many things from them. So thank you for all the initiative, Ram and Prem.
Thank you, Nini.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I just want to add that making such great bonds with people in term zero wouldn't have been possible if not for this project. We got to know so many people so well in very less time, especially the marketing team was like, you yourself said we worked for like the last 4 days full-fledged. So it was like we got to know so many people in such less time, and it's something we're going to remember for a long time because it's like the first thing that we've done together here, so it's going to stay in our minds like for a really long time or forever.
Yeah, adding on to that, even if we don't know something, we can build something if so many people are there, and we can learn it and do it from scratch. That is what the most important takeaway here is.
The whole
We all
point
started
of
off knowing nothing and ended up learning something out of it.
Exactly. We're not scared of making we're not scared of things going wrong because we know we're doing it for the first time, and it's okay if it's wrong also. So yeah, teamwork works.
Teamwork
Shakil says.
And
Madhura,
thank you
you're not
to
audible.
Vikrant for organizing this meeting here. I think it was a lovely thing that everybody shared their presentation. It was really eye-opening. I didn't know teams were working so hard. Like I know only about operations because I was in it, but it was lovely to see what other teams have done and how they have coped up with the work. So thank you
We
for
still don't
organizing
know
this
how
meeting.
hard the strategy has worked. You can think.
No, everybody is like, I think everybody put a mixture of hard work and smart work in a major way because we basically had like, to be quite honest, we wailed away most of the times figuring out what to do. I think we wasted a lot. I wouldn't call it wasting, but we actually spent a lot of time in that. And when it mattered, like when we wanted people to step in, like guys, we have a deadline of 5 days. Everybody just like fell down. They took a leap of faith. And they just went in. So I'm like totally like I'm grateful to all of you, and I'm thankful also in the sense that I've learned a lot and I've also learned about a lot of you. So that is most important to me. The main reason I personally came into Great Lakes and MBA, the main priority for me was to getting to know people. And this GTM gave me, as Ananya said, probably gave me and Prem the best, not just me and Prem, all of us the best opportunities to get to know each other much better. Yeah. And I also need to like tell a sorry to teams who, if any way down the road I have been like kind of rude, because I know there have been times when I just called up Nikhil from the finance team and be like, no, this won't work, just put this, and he'll be like, no, and he'll fight with me also. But it was great. I need to tell sorry to all of you if there's been any hiccups.
Even I wanted to ask sorry because sometimes I try to avoid the calls because I don't know the answer. So I would be trying to figure it out, and then they'll be messaging me.
In fact, me and Prem used to have calls at certain times, and we used to tell most of the work that me and Prem were doing were like therapists only. We were not giving solutions. We were just hearing problems from teams and then being like, chalo, you can do it. So that was the main thing. Majorly that was what we are doing. And Sudarshan is having a question.
Yeah, I was just seeing the chat and some people have some questions. Also, Ram, can you tell when the results will be out of this GTM and all?
I have no damn clue. I think Raj Lekha should be
Raj Lekha or Madhura, somebody knows anything.
I think I think it this time they'll let us know whether when you're going to present it, and also there's another thing that is going to happen. The seniors have thought that we will campaign for this project. See, our batch has done so much of work. Imagine all the batches together. They were planning for a campaign in LinkedIn. They will give us updates, and then we have to work on a team, like a total team who works on LinkedIn. The aim is to campaign our whole project of GTM in such
Actually,
a way.
as far as what I talked to that guy who was talking about this, they're pretty clear in one thing. A lot of people have put a lot of effort into GTM and they don't want to go end this as a competition. So they just want to give us a chance where we could utilize this in a certain way. Probably connect with somebody. As simple as probably connecting with somebody from. Let's assume Vikrant wants to connect with somebody from the operations team. The LinkedIn campaign will help him do that. And the best case scenario would be us probably getting amazing internships and jobs through this. So this could be one step where we get to know something and people could get to know about it. So they just didn't want GTM to end as a competition and rather wanted all this hard work to end up in a fruitful way. So in a physically fruitful way. So that's the reason. And I think the LinkedIn campaign also will be starting very soon.
Very soon.
Sudarshan had a question.
Yes, Karthik, is it audible?
Yeah, go on.
So my question was, you did the operations part, right?
Yep.
So the operations you added depreciation and interest. So what was the depreciation percentage?
I don't think we added anything.
That would be
like that.
finance.
I think finance can
Yeah.
It was
answer that
finance,
better.
I think.
Yeah. So operation depreciation we took 40% for laptops.
For laptops, okay. And
Yeah,
what
that's
about
the only
interest?
asset we had right now.
Okay. And what about the interest cost?
Yeah, we had a 7% interest.
On
per annum.
what value?
80 lakhs.
Sorry?
80 lakhs. 80 lakhs.
Okay, 80 lakhs. And is it the debt equity ratio will be same
Share
for
your
all?
assumptions data, but it will be a little more complex for you to understand. Like it's little complex to understand. Maybe we can have a separate session for that to tell you how the finance entirely worked at the back end with the data.
Okay.
Actually, the reason why we kept we stuck to the presentation here was that we didn't want to get into intricate details and confuse a lot. And finance were actually pretty clear that they don't want to get into the Excel because they knew that people get
Nobody was going to understand unless and until you sit for an hour with us.
Exactly. Okay.
I sat for 2 hours and I still don't understand.
And the main point is what is shared in the PPT. Now you don't need to go into the intricate as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he's just clarifying it for his doubt.
That's okay.
Yeah. Sudarshan, tell me.
So, and the debt equity ratio will be same for all the 5 years. I'm just asking, like, I have a doubt.
So we have assumed that we'll pay off the whole loan at the end of the 10th year. We are given that type of loan.
Okay. And with the SWOT analysis table in the presentation part, it's good. But I think that the tables are not aligned properly. For the SWOT, the strength, opportunities, threats, and the weakness part, they are not aligned properly. I think so. The explanation is good, but in the presentation, have you submitted the presentation, Ram?
Yeah, it's all done.
It's done.
All submitted. Okay, then.
If by aligned you mean not in the order, strength, weakness, opportunity.
No, not the straw. The tables are not like horizontally aligned and vertically aligned. Like
Okay.
Only slide. That's okay. It doesn't matter, but if they get it,
I get it.
When we are
Next time.
presenting, mostly we're gonna screen share.
Yeah, I think we'll share it. I think there'll be a presentation and we don't know how exactly it works. We have no details. So probably we'll.
Yeah, Ram, you have the pitch video.
Yeah, pitch video.
I
sent you.
In WhatsApp?
Yeah.
Just 1 minute. Oh God, this is so embarrassing.
No, it's nice. Do.
Make us featuring.
No, that's the ad one.
Okay, fine. The pitch
We did it
video.
in the first one.
Ad video was posted, casted, and we're gonna show the pitch video. Pitch is basically an elevated pitch where we need to explain the whole business plan or the product in 1 minute.
So basically, the issue that happened was when they told we had to make a video, we assumed that the 1 minute video was about presenting the product and advertising the product. So we kind of did an info media kind of stuff, and they loved it. They loved the ad, but they did not want it as an elevator pitch. They basically wanted a pitch where either me or Prem just come and talk for 1 minute. So we had to send it, and it's now like I think it's approved now. I'll just share this. Just tell me if you guys are able to hear it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We cannot hear.
No, we can't hear.
hear now.
Karthik, could you guide me?
Just share the screen again and
Yeah,
press the
share
button.
computer sound. Share computer sound. Okay.
Yep.
We probably live.
Yeah, we can.
We probably live in the most difficult times of our life. People are lonely, people are desperate, and the COVID mindset is going to remain with us for a long, long time to come. And we interject here with VRift, the product of the future. We give our users the most immersive experience that they've always been after, take them to places that they've always imagined to be in, all through virtual reality. So just imagine, you're watching a football match in your house live. You go to the VRift application, put on your VR headsets, and snap, you find yourself in a beautiful football stadium amidst the crowd. You see the crowd booing at the referee, ranting at the opposition players, and celebrating amazing goals. Yes, this is what VRift gives to you. With India, US, and UK amassing hundreds of $billions in revenue in the VR segment, this is the market we want to tap into. With an investment of around 1.5 to 2 crores, we aim to break even in less than 3 years, even after giving the users one of the most affordable user subscription costs in the entire VR segment. So yes, this is VRift.
Yeah, it was the embarrassed me.
No, it was great. Yeah.
It was really good. It was really good.
And I love the keyboard in the background.
Ram will play the keyboard for us now.
No. I'm in a very thankful mood now. I'm not getting to music mood.
I have just one more question.
Yeah, of course.
Go.
With the analytics part, the 5th year for the UK, it just shot up. The total number of population, I don't know, the subscriber, I guess, with the analytics part.
Yeah. Yes.
The 5th year for the UK, it just shot up, and for India and US, it was just almost constant. So, any particular reason for the rise?
Just a sec. I'm just like, okay, regarding that. Yeah. So, like, it's the 5th year, right? Like, but yeah, we expected that. Like, I can't get into it, I guess. Like, I don't. Yeah. I think we made a mistake there, to be honest. I'm just looking at it right now. Yeah, I think we made a mistake with the numbers, like with the digits. Yes, thank you for pointing that out. Yes, I'm just looking at it right now. Thank you.
So that one has a keen eye, man. You have a keen
Yeah,
eye.
I did not see that actually. Even I'm looking at it now. Yeah.
Are you one of the panelists?
No.
Don't lie.
I'm just
We hope you don't switch.
Ram, I'd like to take up one question in the chat box because Anand had asked, like, how did we come up with a number of persons for MI, UI, and data stitching? So I got in touch with one of my friends who was there in the industry, is an app developer, and he knew a couple of people who are there that machine learning and VR. I mean, like they're learning those stuff, and so he was one who guided me with the numbers, the number of people, and the timeline which should be required. So I think Anand, I've answered your question.
Yeah. Thanks.
Also, can I ask a question? Just I don't know who this is aimed at, to analytics or to strategy or someone, but someone said in the presentation that they did not have data because no other company is doing it or something like that.
Yes.
It's SWOT analysis.
Analytics.
SWOT analysis.
Oh.
No. I remember someone said in their PPT.
Yeah,
that,
me.
Yeah, you
Analytics.
don't have the data because no company is doing it. NBA, which is the basketball
Yes,
league or something, they are doing it very well actually in the
Yeah.
US only.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned, right? It's with Nextwear. They're partnering with Nextwear and doing it, but it's actually a new company. And like right now, Facebook has bought Nextwear, so like their financials, like it's pretty new company, and the data is not available to the public.
Basically, not public yet.
Yeah.
We're not able to access it. It's not like these data are not there. We're not creating something out of the world here.
Yes.
But it's more like a lot of data that we needed were pretty much hidden. It was all under the carpet. We're not able to get to it.
Basically,
this industry, as the operations inquired in 2-3 MNCs, this data thing is highly confidential. The rights and the data thing is thus works on the contract basis, and unless you sign the contract, they don't let anything out.
Right.
Nivi is just telling that if any of you have any like you want to like know more about the finance part, you can like DM her. She'll be happy to explain to you. I think she's typed out and voice noted everything. She'll just forward it to you if you guys ask her.
Okay. Acha, I have one more thing.
Yeah.
In the 7 piece of marketing, like Ram, when you just gave us the idea about this product, you said like the target market is like for the party kind of people, also the sports enthusiast, and for everything.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, but in the marketing slide for the 7 piece of marketing, in the people part, you just check it out. Like they have mentioned only the sports enthusiast and one more was there, but like
no, actually
technology geeks.
Okay.
Technology geeks.
Okay. So the thing is that Ram's idea was firstly about the concerts.
Okay. That's
yeah.
what I was pointing out.
Okay. The thing is that when we worked out the ideas, the market for the sports is a huge one compared to the concerts one, and the profitability going into the sports one is going to be high when compared to concerts, because concerts are something which have a lower crowd. So what we had planned is that first we are going to enter through the sports market. In the long term run, we are going to partner with smaller bands so that we could have a larger hold when they grow also. It will be like two-way growing.
Yeah,
That's how we planned out.
Basically, we're going to exploit the market in terms of sports is concerned. We're going to like get into the market which is already there, and we're going to garner it to our advantage. And with respect to music, we're going to create a market from scratch. So we'll be like partnering with smaller bands and getting them, and that will be our first step towards our own content.
That will be a long-term plan, basically. That will be a long-term plan.
Long-term plan, and that will be our first step towards our own content, because when it comes to sports, it's not our own content. We are partnering, and eventually we want to gather enough revenues to probably stream it ourselves, which is quite far-fetched because it's millions of dollars. Okay. But with respect to music, we can create a brand presence in a couple of like much faster than sports, and we can probably start streaming our own content with respect to music. That was the approach. So I can't like go and put it on a presentation and I'm doing it to a investor.
Sure.
This is the plan. So that's why it was not there. But the entire idea basically cropped up from sports and music concerts. You're bang on right.
Okay, no problem.
Anybody has any more questions, or I think we can wrap up now, because many people have already left, as I can see. Anyone?
I think we can.
Thanks
a lot, guys.
Thanks a lot for joining as well.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.